Hello everybody, it's me again, ASMR Classic. Sorry for them dirty coffee cup as well. Birmingham City Football Club. I'm from the English Midlands originally, but I did a version of Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare, which I adapted. And instead of having two kind of posh houses, I don't know if you know Romeo and Juliet, the Capulets and the other lot. But rather than having two high houses, I had two houses where the locals supported football. So it was the Birmingham City versus Aston Villa. And the actors bought me this at the end of the run at the Edinburgh Festival. It's rather nice. Anyway, sorry it's a bit mucky. I've been doing some stuff here. Still snuffling a bit as well, I'm afraid. Put that there. And move me mat. This is the Smart Pen, Moleskine Smart Pen. I'm going to sort of do a bit of stuff with that in another video. I quite like, as a writer, I quite like the analogue system. Writing analogue, listen to me. Writing longhand, and apparently there is some link between writing longhand and well-being. But I'll go on to that at another time. Basically, shall I show you now briefly? Yeah. Okay, go. This is all backwards for me, so if you can see, I'm still using my phone as a camera, so I hope it's alright. So that's the pen, and you can see there's the nib, and effectively that's a little camera there, which records everything you write, but I'll show you more about that later. It's not completely what I wanted, but it's quite good, and there are, as they say, other options available. I bought this, we're not at the point of sponsorship. In fact, just to remind you, we're doing this to try and get to 1,000 followers. And if we can get to 1,000 followers, then I'm going to do some radio drama. It means we'll get some income from YouTube, hopefully. And if that happens, we're going to make some specific drama for this channel, which I don't think has been done before. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please press the little thingy bobby at the bottom. What was it down there? And maybe if you do like this, please spread the word. Very much appreciate it. And as you can see, as I'm using my phone, I've got a light here. I wonder if this will make any difference. Does that make a difference? I don't really know. I'll leave it on anyway. As you can see, we're really good at the tech stuff. We've also been reading Charles Dickens. It goes back to a book that I bought from a bookshop in London. I won't show it to you this time. Although, by the way, I did pick this up the other day. Longman's Class Books of English Literature. I'm not sure why it says 13 there, but it does. The Cloister and the Hearth. Whoops, no idea who that was, but they didn't like it. Specimen copy. I do love the fact that these Victorian books have this incredible, I guess they're pen and ink illustrations. Not ink, but just pen illustrations, aren't they? He drew his long knife. And as you can see, it cost 2 shillings, which would be, 10p in decimal money, as we used to say. I don't know what that would be in cents or dollars. 10 pence. No idea. I don't know how many pennies are in a dollar. Oh, let's not go there anyway. It's supposed to be relaxing, not taxing. But as you can see, abridged edition, a specimen copy, so this might have been a pre-release jobby. Longman Gear and Co. Paternoster Row in London, 19 So, still before the days where we had postcodes, or I think zip codes they call them in America. 4th Avenue and 30th Street, New York, Bombay, Calcutta, and Madras. So, Longmans, Green, and Co. got around a bit, didn't they? So this was, I picked this up I tend to go into old bookshops because you just sort of do. And I won't go into it now because we're also celebrating the fact that we've been reading Charles Dickens. And a friend of mine came over from Ireland. I haven't read this either. And he's a Charles Dickens fan. And wanted to do a Charles Dickens pub crawl. Well, I'm involved in a thing called the London Literary Pub Crawl. I actually wrote it. And it goes out in the centre of London every week. Yes, I would just cut myself off by accident. You probably won't even notice. I'm learning how to video edit. But yeah, so my friend came over celebrating St Patrick's Day. And wanted to do a Charles Dickens, because he's a big Charles Dickens fan and knew I'd done these readings. Wanted to do a literary pub crawl, so I dug deep into this book, which is a great book. Quite a new one as well. It's Literary London, a book lover's guide to the city. And as you can see, it's by Eloise Miller and Sam Jordison. And I think it was published on, someone started a shower or something, I hope it's not disturbing you. Michael O'Mara Books Limited. Well done, guys. And published in 2016 and then 2023. And it's got some great chapters, bruises and bright young things. But this is something that I feel quite close to. There's little bits of stuff of where I've marked things I'm going to look at in the future. But my friend wanted to do a Dickens pub crawl, and they have one right here in the book, Dickensian pub crawl. Now I know all of these, so I thought I'd just share it with you. Let's move that off the out of the way. This time, we'll go back to our Dickens story next time perhaps. But if you ever come to London, then start at the George Inn, which is at 77 Borough High Street, SE1. Nearest tube I think is London Bridge, that's where I normally go. Little edit, my partner just called. She doesn't know I'm doing this and I'm using my phone camera. Anyway, not to worry. So, a Dickensian pub crawl. So start out at the George Inn, 77 Borough High Street, SE1. As it says here, this is the very last of London's galleried coaching inns, where Dickens drank himself. He also mentioned the pub in Little Dorrit, and Dickens' life insurance policy hangs on the wall. It's also an interesting pub because it's owned by the National Trust of Great Britain, which is kind of unusual. They own things like stately homes and the like. So I think it might be the only pub owned by the National Trust. And also, I know it quite well. I do a Shakespeare birthday kind of pub crawl in London to some of these places that we're going to talk about in now. And it's been interesting going to the George, in that you can stand at the George and look at the final galleried coaching inns, which are like multi-level with galleries up the front. And then if you sort of turn your head to the other side, you can see the Shard, which is one of the most modern buildings in London. It's kind of a juxtaposition, one of the reasons why I quite like London. So the George is worth a look at. Of course, it's also Shakespeare and his company started performing in pubs before theatres were built. And that's why you get galleries in theatres, arguably because of the galleried coaching inns. It's funny as well to have a coaching inn, because literally that was where coaches stopped. People stayed over, got fed and watered, and the horses did, of course. And Southwark, which is just south of London Bridge, was very different back in the day. It was outside the city walls. But we'll maybe talk about that in a bit another time. So if you come out of that pub and continue your Dickensian pub crawl, across London Bridge, which is always nice to do anyway, and up to Leadenhall Market, and at Dree Castle Court you will find the George and the Vulture. The George and Vulture is the London base of Pickwick and his friends, which is mentioned more than 20 times in the novel. Pickwick has a particular liking for their port, served in those days by the pint. I'm not sure a pint of port would be a good idea nowadays, really. Small glasses enough for me, dear. Oops, crikey, sorry about that noise. I don't quite know what happened there. It's me laughing. I shouldn't laugh. So, yeah, port by the pint. And if you come out there and walk along Cheapside is the name of the street, that will take you to the old Cheshire Cheese. It's actually on Fleet Street, and it's a pub I like as well. Dickens first started drinking at this pub when he was a young reporter on Fleet Street, and it remained one of his favourites in the city. Apparently he liked to sit at the table to the right of the fireplace in the ground floor room opposite the bar. That's still there. As you come in to the pub, there's a bar on the right, and then a room on the left with a fireplace. It's also apparently where Sidney Carton takes Charles Darnay for a, quote, good plain dinner and plain wine in A Tale of Two Cities. It's also, of course, perhaps more famous in my mind anyway, for the writer who quoted, "He who tires of London tires of life, for there is all in London that anyone could want." Words to that effect. I've just got that quote a bit wrong, but you know the one. And it was Dr. Samuel Johnson and various other writers used to visit the old Cheshire Cheese. It's kind of also famous in that it was burnt down in the fire of London, so there's still a sign that says rebuilt 1666. And you really do get, if you go in sort of the side entrance, is the main entrance I always think. Dr. Johnson's house is just up the road, sort of in a courtyard behind the pub. Dr. Johnson's famous chair is still in the pub. And the front bit of the pub, you go downstairs and it is very, very rickety and small rooms and stuff. They built a more modern dining room towards the right-hand side of the pub if you're looking at it from Fleet Street. But it's a nice place to go. I quite like the old Cheshire Cheese. And then cut through Shoe Lane, through to Saffron Hill. And there's a little map here you can see. There's the, where are we now? We started here at the George. Yep. And we've crossed the George and Vulture. And now we've come down to the St Paul's Church, of course. I think the cheese is over here. Well, yes, the old Cheshire Cheese. This is Fleet Street. And then we've moved up here now. So, where are we? Yes. So we go through Shoe Lane and the 1 Ton, spelled D-U-N, 1 Ton pub. Another regular haunt of Dickens and quite possibly the basis for the Three Cripples pub in Oliver Twist, which of course was the favourite drinking spot of Bill Sikes and his gang of thieves. Fagin apparently lived nearby. From the 1 Ton. Next, head towards Holborn. Spelled Holborn, but it's said Holborn, pronounced Holborn. At the City of York. There you go, the City of York. I'm not sure whose illustration this is, but I'm sure they won't mind me showing it to you like this. So the City of York, this used to be the Gray's Inn Coffee House. And of course coffee houses were fantastically important to the life of London. It's where sort of stock exchanges and things first happened. People would meet in coffee houses. So this is also of course where David Copperfield stopped to ask after his friend Tommy Traddles. The rioters in Barnaby Rudge should also hide in the cellars of the City of York. So cut through Lincoln's Inn Fields and past the old curiosity shop. It's not the original old curiosity shop, but it's on the corner and it's called the Old Curiosity Shop. The shop's named after the book, I think, rather than the other way around. To the George the Fourth, renamed the Magpie and Stump in the Pickwick Papers, and known in Pickwick Papers for the 500,000 barrels of stout it kept in its cellars. So that's fantastic. In those days as well, there weren't really bars as we know them. They used to have the barrels in the cellars, and you'd order your drink and usually the bar people who go down and pour it in the cellar and bring it up to you in a jug. Yes, it's changed an awful lot since then. So then another 10-minute stroll down Russell Street and into Covent Garden will bring you to the Lamb and Flag. So we've gone this way to here. And this is another pub I know very well. It boasts a little plaque in the alleyways commemorating Dickens' time spent propping up the bar, which I've done quite a lot. I also used to attend theatre producers meetings there as well. And in fact, just round the corner from there is the headquarters of the Society of London Theatre on the same street. It's also, in his days, the tavern had a slightly more alarming name, the Bucket of Blood. And then finally, head across Shaftesbury Avenue, here we go, and into Soho's Greek Street, where the Pillars of Hercules was almost certainly the Hercules Pillars in A Tale of Two Cities. It's kept its literary credentials here too. Ian McEwan, Julian Barnes and Martin Amis were all regulars. And the Australian English journalist, what am I saying? I always think of it as Australian. Clive James named his second book of literary criticism after it, At the Pillars of Hercules. And that's a kind of great little pub there. Doesn't mention it here, but just aside here is Manette Street, named after one of Dickens' characters. And in fact, it's no longer called the Pillars of Hercules. It closed before the lockdown, I think. And then it opened up as a really weird name, something like Sid and Jane. It didn't last very long. And now I think it's called Simpsons. It's more of a cocktail bar. I was there just a couple of weeks ago, actually, for a friend's birthday. And they do have, draft ale as well, draft beers. But I don't think they have real ale if you're into that, which I'm not particularly. And downstairs they've got various function rooms, and we ended up, there were about 10 of us, having a karaoke session in one of these small rooms. It was a Saturday night, it was quite good fun. Although then the birthday girl, it was her 50th, she said let's go to a pub somewhere, and of course Soho on a Saturday night's pretty busy. You can tell that things are picking up after the lockdown. So I actually went to the Soho Theatre on Dean Street, and you kind of take your chance there because it's a brilliant little bar and kitchen. They're also very theatre and writer friendly, and if you catch it right, because they've got so many performing spaces, then you can get a drink quite easily. And we caught it right, and all the shows had started, so we got to the bar and we actually ended up staying there for far too long, but that is another story. But I wanted to share this, I suppose. I hope it is relaxing for you, not too non-relaxing as it were, because of the let's put this back. Dickens pub crawl might as well. Saves sort of bending. I'm not sure if I should be sharing this with anyone else apart from you, but I hope it's been fairly relaxing anyway, and that's the whole point of these videos. As I've said before, when I had COVID, actually I kind of discovered ASMR, and I use it every night, nearly every night, to doze off. So it's nice to be able to do this, and particularly, as I say, if we ever do get to 1,000 followers, God, I don't know what we'd do. What would we do to celebrate? Champagne would be too loud to pop on this channel, wouldn't it? But thank you so much for your. We've now got 165 followers, which is incredible when you think about a month ago we got 20. Still a long way off 1,000, and if you haven't followed, or subscribed, if you haven't subscribed, then do please click the little button below. And if there's anything you'd like me to cover, or if you've got any comments or criticisms, then please do. I've been really surprised by the number of lovely comments that we've had. Because everyone says how evil and horrible the internet is, and I'm sure there are bad things to come, but generally it is so nice to hear from you, from the comments that we've had, which you'll probably see down below. So thank you very much. Thanks again for your support, and have a lovely, well, will it be a week or so? Have a great week. enjoy yourself. I'll see you next time. Thanks again.